This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 9, verses 2 to 3 and 11 to 14. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. A large outer tent was set up. The lampstand, the table, and the bread of presence were placed in it. This was called the holy place. Then a curtain was stretched, and behind it a smaller inside tent set up. This was called the Holy of Holies. In it were placed the gold incense altar and the gold-covered ark of the covenant containing the gold urn of manna, Aaron's rod that budded, the covenant tablets, and the angel wing-shadowed mercy seat. But we don't have time to comment on these now. But when the Messiah arrived, high priest of the superior things of this new covenant, he bypassed the old tent and its trappings in this created world and went straight into heaven's tent, the true holy place, once and for all. He also bypassed the sacrifices consisting of goat and calf blood, instead using his own blood as the price to set us free once and for all. If that animal blood and the other rituals of purification were effective in cleaning up certain matters of our religion and behavior, think how much more the blood of Christ cleans up our whole lives, inside and out. Through the Spirit, Christ offered himself as an unblemished sacrifice, freeing us from all those dead-end efforts to make ourselves respectable, so that we can live all out for God. The word of the Lord.
Reflections on the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 9, verses 2 to 3 and 11 to 14. Saint Agnes was martyred at the end of the persecution of the Roman Emperor Diocletian, probably in the early years of the 4th century. She is thought to have been between 12 and 15 years of age. The name Agnes comes from the Latin word for lamb, agna. She was very young when she gave her life to preserve her integrity. Saint Ambrose says she was just 12 when she suffered martyrdom. The author of the letter to the Hebrews gives a comparison between the Ark of the Covenant, the Tabernacle, and the sacrifices of the Old Testament, and the New Tabernacle and the new sacrifice of Jesus. During their years of wandering in the desert, the Israelites had a special tent serving as God's sanctuary in their midst until King Solomon built the first temple. The Holy of Holies in the temple was accessible to the high priest only once a year, on the feast of Yom Kippur, the Feast of Atonement. The Holy of Holies contained the Ark of the Covenant, in which they placed Aaron's rod, which had miraculously blossomed, and the tablets of the law. Only the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies once a year and could sprinkle the blood of the sacrificial animal over the seat of mercy for the atonement of sins of himself and of the people. Ordinary people were never allowed to go anywhere near the sanctuary. But when Jesus comes, he enters the holy place, the inner sanctuary of God himself. Jesus brought with him not the sacrificial blood of any animal, but his own blood. Jesus offers all of us, without any exception, access to his sanctuary. There is no real comparison between the two. The blood of Christ, who offered himself to the Father, will purify and liberate us. We are now freed from the slavery of dead works or merely external observances of laws and rituals. The author tells his community not to go back on a ritualistic religion, but instead to realize that it is through the Spirit that we approach the new tabernacle. And that Spirit is the Spirit of Jesus, our risen Lord. The only requirement to approach this new tabernacle is to love one another, even by giving one's life for one's friends.